Hey, hey, hello, Seatrade and global community. So nice to have you. Episode 2, Season 2, Winds Around the World with a good friend, Elisabetta Nardo from MSC. Hello, hello, Elisabetta.
Hello, good afternoon. Thanks, Ioannis.
Elisabetta Nardo, Vice President of Port Development from MSC Cruises. Elisabetta, it's a pleasure. Welcome.
Thanks so much for inviting me today for the second talk.
Excellent. So let me start and saying congrats. MSC Fleet is back and running in operations. We're also proud, but I bet you're also very proud yourself.
It's an exciting moment, Ioannis. We're so happy. It's been an incredible effort for the last 2 years. As you know, you've been along with us, helping cruise lines and destinations all these 2 years. And we have to thank not only the incredible effort that cruise lines did during these 2 years, but also our top management believing in it since day one, and the ports that supported us, because it's about destinations that we talk today, right?
Yes, that's right. We will talk about ports and destinations, but before we do, I would like to tell us a little bit about Elisabetta. What is your role, your current role with the MSC? What do you do in port development? The audience wants to hear.
Thanks. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm let's say in charge together with our team and reporting to Gianluca Stuprani, our Senior Vice President for Development and Shoreside Activities. I'm in charge with the team about identifying new strategic destinations where MSC Cruises and other brands of MSC Group will develop and grow further in the next long-term planning of itineraries and cruising around the world, and there where eventually we decide to develop strategic involvement of the group and of MSC Cruises, especially building new facilities, new terminals. Of course, this goes together with working with internal stakeholders, which are fundamental for this business and strategy identification, like port operations, sales, of course, new markets, and also working to see the projections of other cruise lines around the world.
That is correct. Very, very important. And this brings me to straight to the point of my next question. And so say that a government or a port wants to do a meeting with you, and we have Seatrade Met coming in Malaga in September. So I know you will be there, may have meetings all day, rushing up and down. But if they have a meeting, and I would like you to give us some advice, some tips on how they should prepare. What should they come? I know that your time is limited, meetings after meetings after meetings, but, I want your inside information in terms of give us some good practice so the ports want to hear from you.
So we respect tremendously the effort that ports and destinations do when they visit events like Seatrade, because it's a lot of time and, of course, a certain budget involved. So we really appreciate their presence there to meet us. Willing, let's say, optimization and wishing for optimization of time for everybody. What we really need to tackle during a meeting with a destination representative, whoever they are, would it be an operator, a port authority, a chamber of commerce, or a municipality, a board of tourism, because all of these stakeholders now attend Seatrade events. We need to understand, first of all, if they are aware of their destination. So is your destination attractive? And what is attractive? Attractive could be a sellable destination because it's a must-do, something that everybody wants to visit. Or attractive could be some places which are known for specific attractions or UNESCO sites or logo, let's say, iconic places to see. So how much a specific destination is sellable in an itinerary? They need to be aware, of course, of what can be done in their destinations. So we want to hear the attractions, not only in the town or city itself, but of course also outside, spread around in 1 hour, maximum 2 hours outside the destination. And this goes along with our programs about sustainability, avoiding overcrowding places, respecting the local communities, etc. We want to know, of course, if this destinations is aware of the distances, nautical distances between the various other destinations, competing or simply let's say, combinable with this destination specifically in an itinerary. It could be, for example, in the West Mediterranean or East Mediterranean, to make an example of areas which are super rich, new and old destinations, if you pardon the word. We want to know eventually if they have, especially for MSC Cruises, different languages available for guides and eventually green buses, because we're more and more focused in developing tours which are sustainable also from an emission perspective. And then, of course, we want to understand if there's a source, local source market, in case we want to do interport. You know that MSC Cruises is interested in understanding what is the potential for road connections, low-cost flights, etc., etc. So I have to say that the awareness of authorities regarding all this puzzle put together is bigger and bigger. So I'm surprised to tell you, finally, after so many years, that meeting destinations representative during, for example, Seatrade events is a pleasure, because you really see they do their homework and they already engage with all the other stakeholders locally to show the cruise lines, itinerary planners, port operations, Shorex teams, that they know what they can offer. And this is a real pleasure in business.
I mean, this is great to hear, and this is a good message out to those destinations / ports that they want to come and see you. You know, do your homework, as you say, cooperate locally. You know, it's not just the port, it's the destination, it's the buses, is many factors that put into the equation to put together a project, to put together you know, as a proposal for you to come and see you. So this is excellent advice. But you mentioned about the experience, and I would ask you, how important is the port experience with everything that's been delivered when you are looking into a new port, or when you're looking to go to a new port? How important is this for MSC and for yourself?
So, you know, because you're in this business long time, let's not talk about years, please, Ioannis, and age. You know very well that the port is the gateway into a destination, right? So there are different facilities and different kind of port facilities which are, let's say, proper for each kind of experience and destination. Like if we call a destination at anchor, we don't expect to have a Taj Mahal terminal where our tenders are, let's say, reaching land. While in a home port, obviously, we need that kind of facility which is capable to host immigration, face-to-face control, or you know, luggage handling, security, and all these activities in comfort. So we are looking for into facilities when we talk about port development, in our case, where certainly MSC Cruises is home porting. Otherwise, we don't need specifically big or modern facilities. We just need the space, the right space to do our operation. So there's no right size that fits all, as you know very well. It depends on the destination. And of course, we always need to look into the long-term development and potential for expansion. Not all destinations want to or may expand to reach a certain capacity.
So in a way, the way you say it, sometimes it's good for a destination or a port to look around in their area and maybe work together with other ports in the area and come up with an itinerary plan or itinerary proposal in a way that would possibly allow you to see the benefits of that destination better, clearer, or at least take a note and, you know, see the advantages on the characteristics of that destination, which is something which I know in your secret equation always counts in a way.
Of course, let's not forget that in an itinerary planning, there are three main, let's say, cost items driven by the itinerary. Of course, the fuel, which goes along with the emissions commitment that MSC Cruises is now having very strongly in our plans. There is, of course, the port costs, which is something that affects, of course, our budgets, and the profits from the Shorex. So these are the three elements which are itinerary driven. And in this equation, of course, around this main items, then there is a full development of other main factors, like the guest experience of ashore, which is valueless, of course.
I always say to the port I work with that they will need to take care of all the aspects of the operation. I call it the science and the art part. Science being having all the micro infrastructure or infrastructure necessary to have a safe and a proper call. And I suppose, have the depth, the fenders, the piers, or, the bollards and everything is necessary to welcome a ship. So please do your homework. I say, when you go to a cruise line, make sure that your infrastructure is proper for that cruise line there's no point going elsewhere otherwise. And then I have the art part, and art part being the desirability, as you said very well, of destination, and then obviously excursions and the experience offered within the port and outside the port. And that we have a cyclical operation that we can give better service and better experience to the passengers and the crew. Let's not forget the crew, and that will make you to go to the destination. And we don't need to forget that cruise lines are there to service, and you need the best result from everywhere.
Of course,
all right.
We see more and more growing visitors from the events, from the board of tourism, from harbour master and coast guards or chief pilots, so that when the port authorities or municipalities that manage a port, like in North Europe, for example, happens, are visiting Seatrade events, for example, it also happened to meet harbour masters, chief pilots, board of tourism, so different expertise around one table, so that the port really shows you that they're engaged to make it happen for your cruise line.
Yeah, that is correct. And just for our viewers, because I know this is the latest, I know that when you go to events like this, and sometimes in the old days, ports tend to give you bags and bags of material. I know, and I like to tell you, the viewers, don't do that. Send them off WeTransfer or a USB stick beforehand. I know you have hundreds or tens of meetings, and if you would to carry all the material they will give you, you will need two porters with you. But my advice personally is that send all the material to the cruise executives like Elisabetta. Yes, I have something to showcase what you're discussing about, but send everything after with a nice email, so you can expand the family. And I'm regularly say that this is a family, it's a cruise family, and you need to expand the family, with making networks. Maybe now it's not the time for you, but it will come.
Exactly. I have to say also, returning to your previous point, something that's interesting is that each destination should understand what is the real sustainable potential for development. There are destinations which could reach a certain capacity and growth, and other destinations that for how much they want to grow, because of course every tourist is welcome, they also need to face then what is the real capacity, reception capacity of the destination. And in this regards, growing together with a good dialogue with the cruise line is, let's say, the trick to make it work together, growing together in a sustainable way.
Yes, you're so right. And I mean, sustainability and transformational cruise travel are things that we are already facing in the industry in a good way, because I must say that the cruise industry and the cruise companies are the most sensitive in this matter from any other industry in the world. The restrictions we put in ourselves for the next 10, 20 years are very high. So we are contributors to the good, and destinations should take this into account when they want to attract new business in terms of how they operate. Do they have shore power, or do they have plans for shore power, for example, which is another aspect which I think is important, or what other initiatives they have? Yeah.
Indeed. I subscribe all your points.
Excellent. Okay, and I think I mean we got enough information, but if we are to close, I've got two more things to ask you. I need your top 3 tips when someone comes and have a meeting with you. What are the top 3 tips they should be prepared for when they see you? And of course, we cannot close this session without having a story of you.
So, well, the 3 tips, of course, depend on the destination. If it's a rising destination, if it's a new destination, let's focus on those, because those are very well known, have other discussions with us, and they have long-standing relationships, of course, with each cruise line calling at that port. So let's talk about a new destination. Certainly, we need to understand their awareness about the potential for things to do locally, the regulatory framework, of course, because we have more and more of these topics rising in different regions, and obviously the attractiveness for the public. So many times we found ourselves telling to the promoters of these new rising destinations to also ask their government to focus on promoting them, creating a name, creating a brand, so that then guests potentially buying a cruise with that itinerary can choose the itinerary with that destination that they may have heard in an advertisement or in a page in a tourist magazine, etc. So especially the awareness and branding creation. We can't be the only ones trying to create that brand, because before bringing passengers, guests in that destinations who eventually would love that destination and come back as tourists for a holiday independently from a cruise, we need, of course, to sell that cruise first. And without creating a name and awareness, good, let's say, branding again of the place, we can't do it alone. So that's a fundamental for a new destination. And then a positive story, a story to tell. You know, Ioannis, I always like to tell the story of when you and I first met. I hope that doesn't embarrass you. Ioannis and I met back in 2010 at the Seatrade Med in Cannes, or Cannes, as the English say. And that was after a long day. The conference was finally finished. We were exhausted. Feet were hurting for the kilometer on high heels that all of us, the girls, did. And all cruise lines were finally heading towards the hotel or towards their flights or towards the parking. And here is in the parking where Ioannis Bras, following me, running after me, was chasing me to say, can I talk about my destination? At the time it was Iraqian, if I'm not wrong. You've been covering very important positions since then. And that's how we finally had our meeting, running in a parking in Cannes under the rain and the gray sky. A lot of blue skies ahead then followed in our friendship.
That is correct. I cannot forget that day, I can tell you, and our viewers, but to me, this shows determination. So when guys, you want to achieve something, be prepared and don't be hesitant to chase someone on the car park. With that, thank you so much, Elisabetta, for being with us today. Seatrade Wins Around the World Season 2. Our viewers would very much enjoy your insight. We wish the best with that to MSC. It's a great company. I personally enjoyed cruising with them a few times. And we will see you all in Seatrade in Malaga. So thank you so much.
See you in Malaga in September. Thanks, everyone. Ciao, Ioannis. Bye.
Bye, guys.